Hi everyone, welcome to the series Learn Java in Depth. Today we are going to discuss about input and output. So basically, what is input and output? So input represents the data given to a program and output represents the data displays the result of the program. We are already familiar with the statement like this. So both of these statements are used to display the output on the screen. The difference between these two statements is that print method keep the cursor in the same line after displaying the output, and println method throw the cursor to the next line after displaying the output of the program. Right. So input to a program can be given directly inside the program or outside through the keyword. So if the input is given to the program itself, every time the same input is used by the program and the same result can be expected. So let's say in this example, the value of A and B are taken as 10 and 50, right? And the value of the C is calculated and displayed. Even if this code is run several times, we get the value of C always as 25. It means that this code is useful to perform the addition of two numbers only, 10 and 15. If you want to extend this code to find sum of any two number, we should first accept those two numbers from the keyboard into the program. But how can we accept the data from the keyword and use it in the program? So in this video, we are going to discuss about the same. So accepting the input from keyword. So a stream is required to accept the input from the keyword. A stream represents flow of data from one place to another place. It is like a water pipe where water flows, like a water pipe carries water from one place to another place. So similarly, a stream carries data from one place to another place. So a stream can carry data from keyword to memory or from a memory to printer or from a memory to a file. Okay. So a stream is nothing but is always required if you want to move data from one place to another frame. Basically, there are two types of stream, input stream and output stream. So what is input stream? So input streams are those streams which receive or read the data from some other places, or output streams are those streams which send or write the data to the some other places, right? So all streams are represented by the class in Java. For example, java.io. This package contains a lots of classes, all of which we can be classified into the two basic category, input stream and output stream. So keyword is represented by a field called as a system class. When we write a system.in, we are representing a standard input device, that is keyword by default. System class is found in java.lang package and has three fields as shown in here. Like all these fields represent some types of input stream basically. So system.in, this represent input stream object which is by default represent standard input device, that is keyword. And then second is system.out, this represent print stream object which is by default represent standard output device, that is monitor. And third one is system.err. This field also represent the print stream object which is by default represent the monitor only. There is, what is the difference between them these two? So note that both the system.out and system.err can be used to represent the monitor, and hence any of these two can be used to send the data to the monitor. We will see how we can use both of them in later point of time. So let's say we have the statement like system.out.println and some normal message, and then system.err.println and then some message, right? So the programmer can indicate what types of the message he is displaying by using the system.out or system.error. So the difference between to accept the data from the keyword, that is system.in, we need to connect it to the input stream, as some of the input stream is needed to read the data, right? So something like this. So first is like connect the keyword to an input stream object, and here we can use input stream reader that can be read the data from the keyword. So that would be something like this, input stream reader object equal to new input stream, and then we will provide the system.in that is going to read the data from the keyword, right? So in this statement we are creating the input stream reader object and connecting the keyword system.in. And then second thing is like connect the input stream reader to the buffer reader, which is another input type of stream. We are using the buffer reader as it has got method to read the data properly. So coming from the stream, something like this. So buffer reader br equal to new buffer reader, and then we'll pass that object that is nothing but the input stream reader, right? So in this above two statement, we got buffer reader object BR, and these two steps can be combined and rewrite in the single statement also. So something like this. If you want to write in a single statement, we will write something like this. Okay, buffer reader BR equal to new buffer reader, and directly we can pass that input stream reader object and then provide the argument as system.team. So now we can read the data coming from the keyword like this, data from the keyword, right? Using the read method and read line methods available in buffer reader class. So we will see how we can read the data from the keyword. So let's say we want to accept a single character from the keyword. So how we can do it? So now we can follow two steps. First step is create the buffer reader object class that we have seen earlier, and then read the single character from the keyword using read method. So this is how we can use. Let's say this br object is nothing but that we have created earlier, and using that method called read, we can read the single character from the keyword, right? So here read method reads the single character from the keyword, but it returns into a ASCII value. Okay, so which is in integer type. Since this integer number cannot be stored into the character type variable ch, we should convert it into character type by writing something called typecasting. We will understand, or we will see more about the typecasting in upcoming video, but let's say how we can typecast from one type to the another type. So we should write something like this: character and then br.read object. Basically this br.read object is going to be written always as an integer value, that is nothing but the ASCII value in Java. And if we want to convert it into the character type, let's say in this case we want to read only one character, we will typecast to something. So like we are using the character type, so we'll typecast to the character type. So let's go to the IntelliJ IDE and write some simple program to demonstrate this example, right? So go to the IntelliJ. Here I have created already one package. Let's create some class. Let's say the class name is accept. So what this is accept class is going to do, it is going to accept and display character from the keyword. So let's first create the main method. So to read the character from the keyword, what we need to do first? First we need to create the BR object, right? So how we can do that BR object? BR is nothing but the buffer reader. So let's type the buffer reader and create some BR object. BR equal to new buffer reader, right? So buffer reader is what is expecting. Basically it is expecting some input reader. What types of input reader that we are going to provide? Let's say input stream reader. So here we can directly provide like input stream reader, and this input stream reader by default is a keyword, so that will be read the data from the keyword. So that there is a class called system dot in. This indicates that it is going to read the data from the keyword. So as we have seen right in the previous video here, so system.in is nothing, is represent some what it is represent, it represents some input stream object, so which is by default represent standard input device, that is keyword. This keyword is going to use this input stream reader to read the data, and then it is going to pass this to buffer reader to read into the our programming. So this is exactly we are doing in the same one line. We can also do in separate line also, but there is no use, so directly let's familiar with the one line only. Okay, now using this buffer reader, what we can do it, we can write to read the one character only, right? So how we can do it? So let's ask for the character and read it. So let's write some statement like system dot out dot println. Let's write some statement something to the keyword so that it will be very visible and clear for the end user. So let's say write enter a character, because we are expecting to read the character only. So let's write something like enter a character. Okay, so when we run the program, it will come here, it will create the object, then it will execute this statement, it will print something enter a character, then it will expect something to enter by the user. So that is going to store in this br, and to read that from the BR, we'll create one object called system means character ch equal to that BR dot read. So as we know, this dot read is going to return always as integer. That is nothing but the ASCII IO value. First, let's typecast to character type. So what is this exception is throwing is like Java is very smart enough to see, like if suppose some exception occur while providing the input, so then it will throw some exception. So that is what expecting to handle that exception. We will learn more about the exception handling in upcoming video. So for now, let's write some exception handling code for very simple things. So that should be like try. Don't worry about the syntax, we will see in more in detail, and then we'll write some catch statement where we can throw some exception like ex. So any kinds of exception, this is the super class of the exception, any kinds of the exception, it is going to hold that. And let's print something like system dot out dot println, and then let's print something like what are the exception is called. So it will give some message. We'll write some statement something like exception occurred. So basically we are reading the data from the keyboard and we are holding it here. So let's print this statement also, and then we'll rerun the program and see what data we read that. So system.out.println. So just ignore this output. Let's write some statement first here, and then we will see input received, and what is the input that we have received. Let's say this variable ch, right? So let's run this program again and see in proper way. So if you can see here, program is not terminating, it's basically printed this statement that we have written here, enter a character, and it is continuously running. Basically it is expecting like some character needs to be provided. So let's say we provide like C and type enter. So what we have print the output, we have written like something input received and then that character, that is nothing but the C. So basically we have provided the input from the keyboard and we have used that character here, and then basically and then we have used that character here. So this is what the output looks like. So let's make it more visible here. Let's type like this and run this program again. So let's type like something G, right? And see input received, that is the G. So what is happening here, we are reading the data from the keyword to the program, and then we are using that character, right? So this is how we can read the data from the keyword using this buffer reader class, and using the buffer reader br equal to new buffer reader, providing the system dot in types. That is nothing but by default it is going to treat it as a expecting the keyword from input from the keyword. That is what we are providing. This is something like keyword, right? So let's see how we can read the data some other types. Currently we are reading the data as a character type, right? So let's create another class, or let's modify the code here only. Instead of reading the character type, let's type to read the another type like string. So how can I read the string type from the keyboard? So there is another method called read line. So read line, there is another method called read line. This read line, what it is going to do, basically it is going to read the whole line. So first we'll understand, if we provide the some other character here also, is it going to read or not? So let's run this program again and see. So if you can observe, if I'm typing like s and clicking on the enter, what is happened here, it is saying like input received s, but we have entered this many character, right? So what is happening, this read method is going to read the first input only, and after that it is getting ignored. So because this read functionality, so there is another method called read line that is going to read full line. So let's comment this method and see how we can use that read line method. So we can write like string str equal to again br dot read line. So here readline method, basically what it is going to do, let's change this variable first. So here readline method accept a string from a keyword and return the string into the str, and in this case casting is not needed since readline is taking care of the string and returning the same data type. But this method can be give rise to the return error, right, IO exception, which can be thrown out without handling by using this statement. So right now we have already handled it here, right? So any kinds of exception occur with this statement, it is going to catch and it is going to print this exception. So let's run this program and see how we can read the data as a string type. So let's type here some string like this is a pen. So if you can see, we are writing something more than one word, right? This is a pen. So if you enter it, it will say input received all this string, right? So this is the functionality of the read line. If we want to read the one word, basically out of this only one word, we will use read method. And if you want to read full line itself, then we will go with the read line. So this is how we can read the data from the keyword of both the type. We want to read the one word or full line using this read and read line method from the br object. So now next thing is accepting an integer value from the keyword. So we have seen like we can accept the, we can read the data from the keyword as a character type, then a string type. Let's see how we can read the data as a string integer type. We can basically utilize the existing method itself and then we can convert it like how we have done here. We have read the data some types, basically it was returning as an ASCII value, and then if we want to read as a character we have typecasted it. But in case of read line, the typecasting is not required because this read line is going to be written always as a string. So if we want to read the data as an integer, what we can do it, we can read the data using this method only and then we can typecast it. How can we do that? So let's write something like this. Let's say we have utilized this statement only and then we'll write some statement called int, let's say number, right? And what are the string that we have give. So how to convert the data from integer type to the int. So there is a method called integer dot parse int, and here we have to provide the string that we want to convert. We will learn more about this typecasting and parsing in later point of video, but just remember like this is the method to convert any of the string to the number type, but that string should be convertible. It's not like you are providing abc and you want to convert it into this number. That's not going to work. Basically that should be some number. So let's run this program and see. So let's write some let's enter some integer. Let's say 1 2 3 4 5. Enter it. So if you can see, it is showing like input received, that is type of integer. And if you run this program again and you provide it something other than integer, let's say what is going to happen. Let's say we are expecting like this and some character, right? So if you can see what happens, it is showing like exception occurred for input string this, because this is not convertible to integer type. That is what we are doing here functionality, right? We are reading the data as a string type using this read line, and then we are converting it to the integer type. So that's why it is giving the exception like. So basically it exception occur in this line and then it throws that, then it is catched by this exception and then it is printed here exception occurred. And then what are the message is nothing but given by the Java itself. So it is saying like for input string what are the input string that we have given here. So this is the what we can read the data from the keyword as an integer type. Let's see some other types. So let's read the data from the keyword as a float data type. So we can utilize the existing method itself and we can parse it similar to the integer.parseInt. There is a method called float.parseFloat. So let's see how we can do it. So let's utilize the same class only, and instead of enter the character, let's give a like enter value basically. That should be generic. And instead of converting the data as an integer type, right? Just convert it into the float type. Similarly, there is another data type, we can expect it like double type. So in the double type also we can use the similar way. We can use this parse dot double. If we want to read the data as a integer, we will read the data first as a string and then we will convert it as an integer using the integer or parse int. Similarly, if we want to read the data as a float type, we will create the variable as float, and instead of converting from integer, we have a method called float dot parse float. Similarly, we have a similar method. So let's say create first variable double, and then there is a class called double, and then parse double. So this is nothing but this is called as a wrapper classes. Basically, wrapper in the sense what are the things that we are providing as a string. It is going to wrap it and provide it expected output that we want. So in this case we want float type, in this case we want double type, right? Similarly, there is some other wrapper classes also is there. So what is the wrapper classes, that we will understand more about in detail in next upcoming video. So let's first see what are the different types available in Java. So basically wrapper class is nothing but it is going to wrap something and convert it some other data type which we want. So in this case we want double type. So there is another wrapper classes is there is like sort. So the method name is nothing but the parse sort, and then this we can hold as a sort only. Basically we have a wrapper class for all the data type available in Java. So we have integer type, float type, double type, sort, right? How we can write that sort? Basically small, right? And then we have a byte type, so that should be byte data. Then we have something called long type, then we can write as a long data. So wrapper class is nothing but naming as per the name only, byte and then parse byte. Similarly, or long, it is having long dot parse long. And there is another data type available in Java that is called Boolean, right? So let's write something like Boolean data type, and then similarly the another wrapper class is like Boolean and then parse Boolean, right? Right, let's print all the data basically, then we will see the output. So first we are what we are doing, we are writing basically int data, input received int, then float data, and let's run this program and see the output. So let's write some integer value, let's say 5. So if you can observe the output, we have a provided input value as 5, and we are able to successfully read and convert it. So 5 in integer form it will be 5 only. In case of float it will be 5.0. In case of double data it should be like 5.0 only, again some decimal value. And then in case of sort it will be 5. In case of byte it should be 5 only. In case of long it should be 5. But in case of boolean it is returning as false. Why? Because this 5 is an integer data type and we cannot convert it this type to the some data, right? Some boolean data type, because boolean expect always as a true or false, right? So that is what it is not throwing the exception. Basically it is saying that it is not able to convert it. So whatever the integer type we have provided, it is not able to convert it, that's why it is returning as a false. If we want to convert it or store it value, so we will write something else instead of integer. So let's comment this part and try to read the boolean data type only. How we can do it? Let's comment this whole. Now let's run this. Okay, let's comment this system.out.println also. Let's run this program again and provide some boolean type. So boolean can be of true, right? So if you can see, input received boolean data type as true only. So this is the way of reading the data from the keyword in Java for all the data type. So basically this two method is used to read the data from the buffer reader class to read the data from the keyword, and according to our need we can convert it in some other data type and use it basically. So this read is going to read first value. So in case of character we need only first character, that's why we have used read method, and that is going to provide as an integer ASCII value. We need to convert it to the character. Similarly, using the read line method, it is going to read full line of this provided input, and then it will store it here. So according to our need we can convert it. So that's all for today's video. And in next upcoming video we are going to discuss some other class which is like enhance of this statement like buffer reader class, and we'll see some couple of interview programs also with the example, and then we'll understand that. That is very helpful interview point of time. So stay tuned, we'll meet you soon. Thank you.